and a couple Zerg. You know, that's actually crazy. Serral would rather, and I have to think this is mostly an active decision. Yeah, sure, Clem's micro is near impeccable, but instead of losing the hatchery, that's an unforced error right there, but instead of losing the hatchery, drones, or a bunch of Zerglings, things which produce or cost larvae, instead, Serral chooses to lose the queens. And we'll see if it pays off in the long run. But those queens can be reproduced rather cheaply. Now, 2 Hellions getting picked off by the Zerglings means any sort of follow-up attack is going to be blunted somewhat. And Clem is clearly opting for a more late-game option. Opting for an option? Genius. That's why I'm going to edit that out, Jimmy. 2 engineering base at the back. 3rd command center already done. Overlord actually hidden behind it. So we'll see absolutely everything. As will the other Overlord to the north. Sees the Liberator there. Serral's at 56 drones, adding more on. How many Zerglings? Only 16 on the field. The Hellion count isn't so high that it's an existential threat to the mineral lines. 16 Zerglings, though, won't necessarily stop them if they're committed to the idea. The queens need to be involved. Upgrades? About even. Clem and Serral both getting 1-1 at very similar times. The upgrades take exactly the same amount of time, all the way through up to 3 frames. So you can kind of get an idea of who's going to have an upgrade advantage, which is such a big deal with Terran versus Zerg. The Marines fire incredibly quickly, so those weapon upgrades kick in really fast, whereas at the same time, the melee for Banelings especially, and the Carapace for Zerglings against the Marines, and Banelings to an extent, makes a huge difference in the fights. So much of Terran versus Zerg is based around those upgrade timings, and who has an advantage, and what they can do to counteract their opponent. And in this case, we don't really have to have that conversation because they're both exactly the same time. There's on the way. Gold base taken for Serral. He's got 74 drones. 2 more hatcheries as well. Wait, does that include the gold base finishing up there? I believe it just did.
Okay.
And a macro hatch. Is that a natural? Yeah. Well, that's actually out in the middle of the map. Closer where you usually want the Zerglings. It's just queens here to defend up plenty of energy. And the transfuse is going to keep them intact for now. Where are the Zerglings to deal with this? There are a couple Widow Mines. Another queen taken out, but the Zerglings will close in. Gonna try to drag the mine. Wow, how does he do that? He split off one somehow the Widow Mine only hits like 1 or 2 Zerglings. He picks out which Zergling is going to get hit first. Clem doesn't retarget, because it's almost impossible to do so mid-fight. And diffuses the mine with relatively little damage. Liberator still gonna find quite a, don't say disgusting, annoying, no, a well-positioned angle in order to do the most damage. And that means Serral will have to reposition this point. Now there's a double drop, keeping him busy here. Caught between a Liberator and a Medevac plays most of these units. Another Widow Mine, looking for damage. So far, still... Well, he leads it into the drones, unfortunately, and that means 10 drones are going to go down. Another Widow Mine will burrow. Spore Crawler provided detection.